You've heard of trend lines, but
Yo, what is up, chat? How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another episode. Sadly, the final episode of this week, but we'll be back again next week. But welcome for tonight, however. We're back. I'm your boy, TraderPrad, the one and only. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone's in here settling in this nice, cozy little cold weather that we got going on in Toronto. It's cold, boy. It's cold. What's going on with my hair? Jesus Christ. My hair is all over the place. It's a mess. Forget it. But yeah, it's cold. My hands are frozen. I've been in my room for about an hour creating that watch list for you guys, going through a bunch of stock, going through a bunch of scans to see what stocks moved around today, what stocks we might need to have our eyes on for tomorrow, and whatnot. So, you know, I've been in this room for quite a bit now, but my hands are still frozen because it's just that damn cold outside. Hopefully you guys are here. Your energy and your presence will warm me up, will warm my soul. And then in return, it will warm up my hands, and that way I don't have to sit here doing this the whole time. Anyways, enough about today's cold over here. How did your trading go? Put it in the chat. Let me know how your trading went. My trading went pretty decent. I was positive, then I went negative, then I went back to positive, and I just kind of did nothing because the market didn't really give me too many offers or too many opportunities that I was looking for. But a little bit of a flat day for me today. Excited to see what happens tomorrow. We were, however, looking to really look for the short side today. You know, we were looking for that Timber Thursdays, which never really showed up, man. Timber Thursday was nowhere in sight. At some points, the market did sell off, but it was very kangaroo-ish. It was just back and forth, back and forth. But we gapped up after yesterday's sell-off. And we basically just range bounded all day and didn't really find too many plays for myself to be into, but we have some trades on the board. Some of them were profitable, some of them were not, so we'll talk about them. We'll show you all of my trades, not all of them. We'll show you some of my trades today, my best and my worst trades basically, and then from there, you guys know where we're going to go into. We're going to dive into the wonderful watch list that I have prepared for you. And then after that watch list, we're going to go look at a new SMB Capital video that came out last night. And I've been told that this video is really good. Some of my coworkers have watched it. They're telling me to watch that video. So I'm excited to see what is being talked about in that one, and obviously we'll do that at the end of the stream. We got the #1 moderator, the Discord moderator, and the YouTube moderator over here, and reminding you guys to hit that like button. Yes, please hit that like button. Would appreciate all of you who are in here to also hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you're a new member, we go live every single day from Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. We talk about the stock market, we watch some videos about the stock market, and then maybe we just have some fun later on, just watch some other videos and wind down and whatnot. So that's the type of streams we have over here. We have a lot of fun doing so. We have a great community on Discord. Also, Blind Jedi basically runs that Discord by himself. It's his Discord at this point, let's be real. But yeah, come join our community on Discord. We have great conversations about futures, about options, about crypto, about stock market, so come join us if you haven't already by joining !Discord in the chat, or you can scroll down below and you can see all my links in the description, baby. All my links. I do want to remind you guys that the giveaway is coming close. We are on December 21st right now, and the giveaway, I believe I picked to end on December 25th. So the giveaway is coming to an end very soon. Please sign up to the giveaway if you haven't yet. I think there's only 16 entries right now. Please sign up to the giveaway. We have a couple of cool things coming out over there. Do ! giveaway in the chat to learn more about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we get started with everything that we have in store, everything that we have in plan to talk about, starting with my trades. So let me quickly change the transition mode to just a fade, so that way we don't have to get annoyed with all the transitions and whatnot. And then we go to the screen. All right, so my best trade on the day today could have very easily, honestly, been my worst trade. It was started off being a loser for me. It was Boeing. Boeing came out with a decent enough of a catalyst in pre-market. Something about a deal with China, that the Chinese regulators have approved the 737 flights, and now Boeing is actually very close to delivering some of these flights to China, even to a privately held aircraft manager, I guess, or an airliner in China. So Boeing was pretty close to delivering those airlines after the regulatory approval. So I was pretty bullish. I was looking to see if Boeing would take out yesterday's high around 266 or so, and it did. Off the open, we take out 266. We go up to almost 267.50, 267.80-ish or so, and then we come back down. So right on the way back down, I'm looking to see if 266 can hold. It bounces off of 266 successfully for the first time. The second time, I just have an order there sitting. It comes into my order, but then lots of selling takes it to the downside, so I just punch out of my position. Now clearly yesterday's high was rejected. Now I'm looking for the short instead. So now that once the stock popped up, took the short, took the breakout, and basically just waited over here to see if the stock would kind of take out today's high or even hold above 266. If it would actually show me some buying above 266, that would have been my trigger to just close the short and kind of maybe walk away, because I lost on the long, I lost on the short. There's a good chance the stock just trades sideways all day. Thankfully, no buying really came above 266. We would peak above 266 slightly, but no buying coming above 266, allowing me to hold my trade a little bit against me, and then on the flush able to cover that beautiful pop or drop to the downside on Boeing. Originally was thinking to hold to 260, but because when the market popped up and the way Boeing was consolidating in front of this 260 area, I figured maybe there was not a bigger room to the downside, so I closed my trade. Then later on, the 260 area did come into play, so watched, waited, was very patient off of the 260 on one bounce, two bounce, three bounce, and yesterday we were watching that video about that 2-bar breakout kinda. So this is kind of the 2-bar breakout. Should have taken that entry over here, but then I waited a little bit more on this position to actually get above that 260.25, which I believe was yesterday's close, or it's not close, yesterday's low or close. I think it could be low or the close. I think it was the close actually. So Boeing, let's go quickly check that one now. Yeah, yesterday's close 260.25, and us bouncing right in front of 260.25 gave me that confidence to get into that long. Held it for the nice move up, but then I even gave it a little bit of a wiggle room. Eventually that trigger stopped me out. I could have gotten back in for that move back up to VWAP, or at least close to VWAP, but just lack of that buying to even take the stock towards VWAP, more selling coming right back in and pushing it closer to 260 once again. Later on in the day, I was able to catch another long on it. I was able to hold it right against me all the way up to 260. 260 never came into play, but the stock was really struggling into what I think was the, if I can remember correctly, was a 50 period EMA. The 50 period EMA or SMA? It is the 50 EMA. So 50 EMA on the 5-minute chart, it would just, I keep forgetting it's on the same tab. 50 EMA on the 5-minute chart would just keep on getting rejected. So I just took my first profits into that, and then I threw a stop, I believe, slightly above break even, which gets triggered. Actually, on the way back below 261, I get triggered on that profit, and then my trade ends up being profitable. This trade, I actually called it out on Discord. when I took the trade, and then when I took the profits and everything. All of that trade was picture perfectly called out on Discord. Maybe some of you took that trade with me. If not, then maybe next time. And if you're not on Discord yet, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Thank you to Blind Jedi. Momo's in the chat. TraderPrad, I'm so upset with myself. I'm so upset with myself. If I hit my 1193 forward, lol, but I didn't hold it enough for it to play out. But progress, I guess. At least my account, there's a stupid heart. Here, let me show you what it looks like. Uh-oh. There's a stupid little heart right there that covers this damn text. It's so stupid, whoever designed this. So I think I'm guessing it says actual punching in key level. Okay, at least I'm actually punching in key level. Yeah, look, as long as you're following a plan, you have a plan and you follow your plan, shouldn't beat yourself up too much for it. But looks like you didn't follow your plan at all and you just kind of stayed away from it. That's fine. Being cash is a position too. It's fine. That's fine. But in my opinion, Ford was not in play today at all. But you're not gonna listen to me, and I'm not gonna bother trying to explain it to you. So Ford not in play. Moving on, talking about my trade over here. Boeing, nice little win on the day for me. The next stock. Now this one will be surprising for some of you guys, because you've seen maybe the short on Instagram or even on YouTube, where I'm basically shit talking about ANF. If you haven't seen those, and if you've been on these streams, then you know how much shit talk I've been giving ANF over here. But if ANF, especially after the move the market had yesterday, is gonna get above yesterday's high and hold above yesterday's high, is that not bullish enough to look for a long? So right off of today's VWAP, when the stock got above to the north side, I let it trade. I didn't even plan to trade it because low volume stock, what can I really do with this? So I let it do its thing. Eventually, it was holding above today's VWAP. So I got long slightly above today's VWAP, giving it for any proper close below today's VWAP to close the trade. Never really had to worry about it. Nice little move into today's highs. The ATR was also kind of 100% of the range. So took some profits over there. On the move back down, got some more. On the move after getting this one, punched a little bit more. Got a little greedy. But then the stock is struggling in the same area. So take some profits. Hold it against me a little bit. And then watch the stock get back in the same area and struggle again. So just close my position completely. ANF longs. Now, isn't that surprising? Very, very surprising on ANF for myself, at least, because I was talking so much shit about this stock, thinking that, hey man, like, who the hell is wearing ANF? This stock should not be doing what it's doing at the moment. But who am I to fight the buying? If there's buying in there, you just shut up and get long, and that's what I did. Had fun, good little longs on ANF to pad my day. Thank you, ANF. But I can't say the same about FDX because of how I traded Boeing. That gave me so much confidence to kind of smash the shit out of FedEx over here, because FedEx perfectly walked into that 246 area and then popped off of the 246. So I got short, but then I closed it right away, thinking that that pop that we had wasn't really that good. But later on, got back in again on the break below a day, got stopped out. Got in again, got stopped out, got in, got out, tilt. So this one over here was just absolute atrocious. Like, look at how clean the Boeing trades were, where like I tried the long, didn't work. I tried the short, clean trades. And then later on in the day, I tried a long, clean. Later on in the day, I tried the long, clean. Over here, I just take that confidence off of Boeing and I just tilt on FedEx. This one kind of hurt me on the day today. Mentally, psychologically, notionally, every single way was hurt. I was hurt. But we learned a lot. What I said to Momo just now 30 seconds ago, or maybe a little bit longer than 30 seconds ago, about sticking to your plan. FedEx was a big question mark for me, because in our notes from yesterday we said the range was 245 all the way up to yesterday's closed area, which is kind of 246, right? So 245 to 246 is the area, and here I am just like hammering the shorts. For me to really think short on FTX, I needed it to trade under 245 and hold under 245, but it didn't really do that. But for some reason, I just read the signals wrong. The opening drive short kind of excited me a little bit too much to try the shorts on FedEx all throughout the next 30 minutes over here, and I just traded it like an absolute moron to begin with. So that one hurt in the day. Overall, those were my best and my worst trades. Like I said, flat on the day. FedEx actually takes away a lot of my profits and kind of almost turns me red. So that one was a position. That would get you clear direction for Boeing. What are we talking about? Blind saying, if you trade Boeing, then monitor ES and YM futures closely. Yeah, I watch like S&P 500, but what's YM? What? YM is nothing. What's YM? Oh, Dow. Got you. The Dow futures. That's the diamonds, right? DIA, the Dow Jones. Yeah, I watched the DIA too. Not as much as I watched the IWM, S&P 500, and the QQQ. But Boeing, I'll be honest. Boeing was so clean today. On the tape, on the chart. It was just clean like a whistle. Just no problems with Boeing today at all. It was so clean. And I wish it was like that every day. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy, it would be so much fun. But that's the beautiful part about the market, right? Our job is to always look for those clean, fun movers and trade them. But here I am being a monkey. All right. TraderPrad, I'm still holding forward from 10. Okay, I was talking about playing the day trade off my leverage, buying power, support, looking. I'm not going to look at Ford. I'm not going to look at Ford. Not interested as a day trade on Ford at all for me. Not going to trade it. But we talked about my trades on the day. And now we're going to head over to the watch list that we have prepared. Bang, ladies. Again, this thing is so annoying. The watch list that we have prepared over here, starting with some of the earnings movers, the ones that announced today pre-market or after hours, the ones that moved a couple days ago because of earnings itself. Obviously, FTX being one of them that we just talked about, and then the next one, CCL, one of my trades on the day today. I think CCL was actually my number 2 or 3 best trade on the day. No, it wasn't, but it was a profitable ticker. It was a profitable ticker, but it wasn't one of the best trades. My number 2 trade was Micron, or number 3 trade was Micron. We had a long on Micron, but then boy, oh boy, that flush on Micron off the open was insane. That flush on Micron off the open was absolutely nasty. But we got along right in pre-market over here in these lows. We added on the break of the high of 85. And then we pretty much rode it to 86, got out near 86, and then that flush happens where I get stopped out on my last few shares on the break of VWAP, and I basically stay away from looking at Micron because that flush keeps me away from looking for more longs on the day. That just basically shows you a complete negation of this pop. This pop was fugazi, and there is a seller who just hammered the size back to the downside. Eventually later on though, Micron did manage to pop back up right back into that high. So found enough buying later on to pop right back up. So that's pretty cool for Micron to watch. But now the question is, what happens tomorrow? Micron is on the list. I think 3rd or 4th stock on the list. But first, we're going to start off with the one that announced earnings today after hours, because we got a little bit of an extension move to the downside on NKE. Maybe NKE can help bring ANF down, but no, that's like a sympathy trade, but I don't even think about it that way. Let's just talk about NKE specifically at the moment, because this one off the earnings move absolutely sold off. What is this one? Yeah, I know it's an anchored VWAP, but where do you come from? Oh, you come from the previous earnings report. Okay, so this one's the previous earnings report, and now we're at the new earnings report. That'd be pretty cool to see what the stock does between the previous earnings report anchor VWAP and the new earnings report anchor VWAP. Almost like a anchor VWAP pinch setup coming, and that also happens to be pretty much the 52-week low anchor VWAP. If you think about it, that happens to be the exact 52-week low, kinda, and shows you what possibly could happen when the stock pushes into this anchor VWAP area, especially into this 105, possibly big buying area into 105s. I would watch out to see what happens into that. Would probably not short going into 105. I mean, this is a big move down too. Let's zoom back out on the daily chart real quick and see what it looks like. We're back down over here. Nice little triple bottom came in on the daily chart right in front of the 105 zone. How come I have the 105 exactly? Okay, it's coming from there. No, that's not 105. That's 105. Okay, that's coming from all the way back. But yeah, I like the 105 flat, nice little flat, even 105. But I guess you can kind of extend that number a little bit lower to 103 based on that little wick. There's a little bit area somewhere here, down here. The recent low over here too, near 104. So this whole range in general, you know, I would expect easily buying could show up. And NKE is also a big company. It's a dividend company. They're a profitable company. People would look to buy up this position on any sort of dips. At least I would think so, especially with the market going into all-time highs. So I think NKE over here, let's take a quick look at their report and kind of see how bad of a report was it for how big of a move that it had. NKE EPS beat, was expected 0.84. They reported 1.03. Revenue looks barely a miss. So why did they drop as much as they did? And for that, we're going to have to bring in our trusty friends from Benzinga. For anyone who wants to sign up to Benzinga, the code is down below in the description, so go check that out. Right now, you, however, get it for free on my screen, and you get to see exactly what's going on over here. Yeah, barely a miss. I mean, they're saying a bigger miss than what than what TradingView is showing. TradingView is showing that their estimate was 13.39 billion, whereas Benzinga is saying their estimate was actually 13.43 billion. So obviously it depends on whose estimate you're looking off of, and then their actual number. You know, maybe FactSet has some certain number that they are estimating, but then Refinitiv has a little bit of a different number that they were estimating. So it just could a little bit of a discrepancy in that number. Now, however, the more important data point here is how are they doing in their stores? How are they doing in their next guidance forecast? Did they even forecast? Are they holding back on their forecast? And for that, we're going to once again go right back into Benzinga to see what they're talking about. The company's gross margin to 44.6 increased. Okay, there you go. That's what I was looking for. Increased to 44.6%. Strategic pricing actions and lower ocean freight rates. Blah 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 blah. All things good. Although it was a pretty partially offset by detrimental changes in the net foreign currency exchange rates, as well as higher product input costs. Okay. Additionally, Nike reported that cash and equivalents and short-term investments fell from approximately 0.7 from last year to 9.9. That looks like it growed. But okay, something fell over there. How do you go from 0.7 to 9.9? That doesn't make sense to me. But it fell approximately that much from last year to currently this much. Okay, I'm stupid. I'm just not comprehending what they were saying, but now I got it. Okay. Nike also stated that it is assessing opportunities to deliver up to $2 billion in cumulative cost savings during the next course of 3 years. The company also anticipated pre-tax restructuring charges of approximately 400 to 450 million from its streaming efforts, which are in early stages. Q2 results demonstrating how we are getting back on the front foot. Get it, Nike, front foot. In our key areas of innovation and growth, blah blah blah. This quarter showed strong execution by our team as we focus on our winning formula of innovating product, distinctive storytelling, and differentiated marketplace experiences. Okay. Overall, didn't look that bad. Damn it. My throat. Didn't look that bad overall. Looked pretty decent, but the move obviously is screaming to the downside. And now we already talked about the anchored VWAP from the previous earnings one. I'm gonna call it 52-week low slash previous earnings. And then we have this earnings move coming up over here. And in my opinion, in my notes, you guys know what I'm already thinking. I'm thinking the stock holds up at 105. So support 106, and in bracket I'm gonna put 52-week low slash previous earnings VWAP. I can't spell earnings for shit. Earnings VWAP. And then right after, I'm gonna put 105. So I expect this 105 area to come in and hold up as some support. It'll allow us to look for some buying. So basically, you want to look for buying to build in, proof of concept. You don't just simply get long in front of 105 just because I said 105, right? You need a proof of concept. You need to see the buying come in front of 105. Then only does it mean long. So obviously in the notes and the bias, bullish above 105/106. In notes, if stock can hold above 105 or 106, can look long. Inflection 105/106. Resistance. Now that's the interesting question over here for this question, as for where the resistances could come in. As you can see right here on the after hour move, we did try to pop up after creating a little bit of a base. That is kind of what you want to see if you want to get long tomorrow, right? You want to see this pattern right here. Let's say this is 105 area. The stock goes near 105 and slightly in front of 105, or even getting slightly under 105. It gets back above 105 and it's holding 105 on the bids, and then you're not really seeing the stock flush, but then it's popping. But then right after it pops, you don't want to see that flush that came along with it. It should not have a flush, or at least a sharp flush to the downside. Those pops should not get sold into. But if those pops are getting sold into, this is the type of move that you can expect right back under 105, at which point the long is negated. So you want to be careful for that 105 area if it's a trapdoor. However, I think it's not. But coming back to the resistance question, that rejection right there is what looks like a solid area to possibly look for more selling where it could come into. So 110 area is possibly the first resistance. You should not also ignore this 108 hold in the after hours over here on pretty light volume, but this 108 area is holding, so there's a good chance that we bounce off of 104, 105 and move back into 108 and hold 108. Below 105, I will put 100 just to be safe. It's a nice, even significant psychological level for Nike. So we'll just put that one out there. And based on how the stock moved in the after hours, and based on how much of volume the stock is usually has on a day-to-day basis, I think it belongs in a higher tier importance of stocks tomorrow. So Nike, high priority tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to another high priority stock. At least I think it will be. However, today it traded a little bit poopy. Didn't really do too much of excitement moves. I thought CCL would be, the number one banger of a trade today. Didn't really do what I wanted it to. I think I remember getting long somewhere right above today's VWAP after it held after the pop, but I saw selling coming right back in, so I punched out and I made the right call. But I should have been able to get back in on the long side after it got back above today's VWAP, but missed out on that move. Boohoo me, little sad story, but not gonna cry about it too much. Moving on to how CCL traded today, and planning for how it might trade tomorrow. I almost said how it will trade tomorrow. I don't know how it will trade. Nobody knows that. But planning for how it might trade tomorrow, looking for this beautiful 1955 area to come into play. So resistance 1955, inflection 1955. If stock can get above and hold cleanly 1955 level, could get long for some extensions. Bias bullish above 1955. So Not really worried about the supports on this position at the moment. I think any sort of pullbacks could get bought up. We are seeing a couple of the other derivative areas coming into this 19 area, and 19 is not that far away from 1955. So in my opinion, I think we see the stock actually opening up into 1955 or even above 1955 off the open, and then maybe a pullback to 1955 right off the open to kind of get long. Not really sure if we even get a chance to get along into 1955. Maybe the stock just opens up into $20 tomorrow, and that's where we might have to make a decision and revamp some of our levels. So be ready for that possibility too. But however, if the stock does open below 19, then that kind of negates our whole thesis of a move into you know, the 1955 or even above 1955. So CCL could just open below 19 and kind of just be boring, a dead fish at that point. I don't want to see that, right? We don't want to see the stock opening below today's close. It'll be nice for the stock to gap up and show that there is actual continuation, a day 2 move possibly after today's day 1 earnings move. So CCL, I'm gonna put 1885 as my support. These two levels actually need to get changed. Let me just change that real quick. Okay. Bang. Okay, so CCL 1885 area. No, don't really want to see the stock going too much under that, or too much under 19. If we go under 1885, the longs are kind of done with that position at that moment. Next up on board, KMX, another stock that announced earnings at pre-market, popped up during the pre-market move itself, but then sold off the open, but still up 5% based on how the stock traded into the 2 o'clock move yesterday. So that was a little bit of a sell-off. Obviously, the stock managed to hold the 73.32 off the pre-market move, and then insane pop. Very, very low volume, but insane pop, and then that just got sold off and found a little base into what looks like 77.60s area. Nice little R-vol boost too on this position, but not too much of an R-vol boost. So last earnings volume was a lot more than this earnings volume looks like. Big candle too, so probably seeing an inside day tomorrow. Right now, we did get a bounce off of that 77.70. We did get a bounce off of that 77.70 area. We can just look for possible longs if this area holds again. If this area can hold, maybe some moves back up, but it's just going to have an inside day. I'm not going to expect too much fun on this position, honestly. KMX might just be one of those background stocks that if I don't have any other trades, which I doubt I won't, but if I don't have, then I'll kind of pull into it. Right now, I'm just going to move on from KMX to the next one on my list, Micron. Micron, what a beautiful move off the open. We were just complaining and having fun about talking about how we took the longs off the open, but man, what a sell-off on this position afterwards. Looks like there's some sort of a level now, though, however, around this 86 area, and we know that there's a level into the 83 area because on the daily chart 83 was the previous high, and that's where the stock bounced off the open too. I mean, not off the open, later on in the day. So 83, you could have caught a nice long on Micron over there. You could have added into this VWAP consolidation. You could have added on the breakout. You could have also taken more size and just, you know, enjoyed it later on in the day where the stock actually successfully held 83. Now at this point, between 83 and 86, you don't really want to make a decision, in my opinion, in this ranges. You want to see what the stock does above 86 or near 83. In my opinion, 83 should get held for some supports. I'm actually going to delete CarMax from my watch list for tomorrow because I don't think I care about it. 83 as my supports for Micron, 86 as my resistance. As for notes, if stock can, oh, that's my infliction. Infliction, I think the stock tomorrow, where's the earnings VWAP? It's right around 84.50. I'm in the middle of the range, 83, 86. So kind of like 85, 84.50 needs to get held up, and that's where the VWAP is today's, right? Today's VWAP is right around there. So you want to see basically this range, in my opinion, not really going under that. So let's just say 84.50 as inflection. 84.50 notes. If stock can hold 84.50 on dips, or 83 can get long. If stock is above 86, why did I say it in such a weird way? If the stock is above 86, ABOVE, above 86 and holding, can get long. Bullish above 83, bullish above 86, bearish below 86. And importance, Micron orange, very, very important stock for tomorrow, as it was today too, just wasn't when I wanted it to be. All right, next up, the stock that's kind of hurting us for the last few days. I think it actually hurt us only today. Yesterday was not that bad, but today, did I even trade it yesterday? I don't think I did. Can't remember if I traded it yesterday. Oh well. Today, however, didn't really trade it too bad. Kind of over traded it and tilted it too much. Christmas treed myself off the open, but let's see if we get a trade tomorrow. At one point in the day, we did break 245 on FTX, and I did have that trade, but then our brokers at our workplace actually got shut down, and we couldn't make any execution, so I couldn't actually punch out of my loser. I had to hold my loser all the way into after hours, and my manager punched me out later on when the system actually allowed him to punch me out. So he punched me out later on while I was on my way home. But yeah, that sucked when I was in a nice little winner, couldn't take my profits, nor could I stop myself out because all orders were just canceling themselves and they were going on pending mode. So that kind of screwed me out a little bit. But now the 245 area breaks and shows you that there is still buying right under 245. So FDX, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there is a short in the stock anymore. Day one, we're holding above 245, 246. Day two, we hold 245, 246 so cleanly all day. And then later on in the day, we break it, but then we immediately pop right back up. That's called a fake break, in my opinion, right? So I don't think there's any more shorts. And if there is any shorts, 240s is an easy buy. If the stock is for any reason opening up into 240, it looks like there's a big buyer into 240 because that's what happened in the pre-market move on the earnings day. We go to 240, we pop right back up, never really go back down to 240. We hold, we hold, we hold, we hold. So in my opinion, there's some pops over here that we need to wait for on FTX before actually making a decision. So this one goes down in priority list for me. It's going to go into the blue list of stocks. That's not going to get demoted all the way back down to a white list of stocks where it doesn't have any importance to me, like KMX. But no, it does get booted down from yellow to from orange to blue because of how not clean the first day and the second day was for the selling based on how weak the catalyst was for the stock. So now for the support, we're looking somewhere from today's low around 244.50. 244.50. The next support after that, 240. Resistances, we're looking around 250. And then after that, yeah, we'll just wait near 250 right now. 250, 251 area. We'll just wait to see what the stock can do going into those zones. So FTX, not really looking for the shorts at the moment. Inflection, not sure what to do with the inflection column. The bias is no bias. No bias, but not really looking short anymore. I mean, that's kind of bullish, but I'm not bullish, but I'm not looking short either. Notes, I'm just going to leave the notes column alone. Let's move to a more interesting stock because boy, oh boy, what is Bitcoin doing? With the with the ETF catalyst right around the corner, wow, mamma mia, let's go. 44,000 coming into Bitcoin. And now I might just be able to break out of this baby and launch to the north side. So let's see if that's something, some fun over there that Bitcoin can set up for. Obviously, if Bitcoin is doing this fun stuff, look at that anchor view up on Bitcoin, still going up, baby. Gotta love seeing that. Now it's coming all the way back to this area. Monster buying on Bitcoin. That ETF catalyst, I think whenever that ETF catalyst is supposed to happen, can't complain. So that's taking Coinbase, that's taking Mara, that's taking Riot all the way to the north side. So we're gonna continue taking a look at these positions. Riot actually didn't even pull back to 16. We held up at 16.27. Bullish AF. So tomorrow, if we can get above 17 and start making a move to 18, that'd be grateful. That'd be great for us to possibly look for shorts into 18, or maybe even breakouts of 18 and even a bigger move above 18. I'm not gonna expect Riot to get that crazy like Coinbase can, but Riot can possibly give us some more longs into 1630 areas, or even 1650 areas for some moves back into 17, and then maybe back above 17 to 18 eventually. So Riot looking for, I think 1650 is my first area that I'm looking for, and then under that we'll put 16, resistance 17, and then above 17 we got something near 1780, 1790. So I'm just gonna put 18 for the next resistance infliction. I think 1650. If stock can hold 1650, can get long for a move to 17 or higher. Bullish above 1650. Importance pretty high, obviously. You guys can understand why with cryptocurrencies moving at the moment. It would be idiotic to not see what the hell's going on with Mara, Riot, Coinbase, and so on. Riot, however, is a little bit lagging always for some reason. Coinbase and Mara are the more fun trades, more fun stocks. As you guys can see, Coinbase also doing something what Mara is doing at the moment, just breaking out to the north side, whereas Riot's kind of just stuck in these ranges over here to the lower end. So looking at Mara, taking out a new 52-week high now near $25. Today looks like a little bit of a struggle near $25. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. No real struggle. It's just we got there at later on in the day, but that $25 coming into play later on in the after hours, more continuation for that long move, obviously, because cryptocurrencies were probably getting pumped up. So Mara just continuing with that fun move, baby. Now the question is, does Mara hold on any sort of pullbacks into these days highs? This day's high and this day's high right before the breakout was kind of the same, into this $24 or so, $24, $23.70, $23.50. Possibly look for some dip buys into those areas, and not really looking for the stock to go too much higher than 25. But if Mara is above 25, above 25.10 and holding, there could be a little bit move. But look how today's move was. You could possibly just expect something like that tomorrow, where the stock just does something like this instead of what it did here. Just something like this. So just be a little bit careful. It could be a little bit choppy. I think expecting the dip buy when it comes back down into this 23.50 or 24 area would be the point to look for a long, in my opinion, on these positions. So that's where I'm going to be waiting, right around 24.30, 24.20 on MARA. So MARA 24.20 area is where I'm going to be waiting. Under 24.20, I'm going to be looking for that 23.70 and then 23.50. As for resistances, we got that 25.10, the first area. Infliction 25.10, in my opinion. Not really 25.10, because we kind of did pop above 25 into 26 in the after hours. So let's put 26. Infliction will also put 26. Yeah, we'll put 26, because I think that's going to be the more important number right off the open. As for notes, if stock cannot trade above 26, possible pull back to 24s, where you can look for longs. Bullish above 24 and bearish below 26. Yes, sir. I like that. Just fixing some spelling mistakes over here. Mara, obviously, as I did with Riot, pretty high importance of stock. These stocks are moving like it's day one catalyst every single day, so gotta keep an eye on them, gotta keep a watch on them, because fun moves over here on these bad boys. Coinbase looks like somewhere around this 166 167 area to keep an eye out for any possible dips and pullbacks to look for longs, and especially if cryptocurrencies keep on doing what kind of fun moves that they are doing at the moment, we could look for some longs over there. So watch out for Coinbase. I'm gonna put Coinbase, however, on a blue color scale of stocks, because you guys know how I hate Coinbase. It's way too crazy for me sometimes. I like my Maras and my Riots. It's easier for me to control my risk, and I could just not have to worry about the spread opening up randomly. However, Coinbase probably has gotten a lot cleaner recently. I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing out a guess at the moment. Don't know if it has gotten cleaner or not. The volume hasn't really gotten higher, but I'm guessing it could have gotten a little bit cleaner. But if the volume's not going higher and the price is, the chance is the spread is also. So not sure if this bad boy is cleaner at the moment. So moving on. For the next stock, Play. Dave and Buster's. Low volume stock, but boy did this position have a monster move to the north side today. I actually had a short. I took that short right around this area, and then I added on the break of today's VWAP, but then the stock found support right into some other derivative zones that I have mapped out, and just bounced right back up. So bouncing right back up, I had to stop slightly above today's VWAP and basically had a flat out on this position, and I didn't really lose too much, and it just consolidated, as you can see, right into that highs over here on the daily chart where the stock has kind of been struggling into. It bounced perfectly off of the 9 bar on the daily chart, and then moved perfectly into this 52-53 area, and kind of just struggled into that 53 zone. Right? Just struggled into that 53 zone. This bullish pump that the stock had today kind of tells me that tomorrow there's a high chance that the stock can get above 53 and actually hold above 53. In that case, there could be some good longs on play. Even though the stock doesn't really do a shit ton of volume off the open, the stock could be that hidden low-key gem like ANF was today. If 53 is holding, you could get long off of 53 and just ride it, and 53 does not hold, just immediately exit stage left, jump doors, and don't really look for that long anymore. Maybe give it 50 cents of risk if you really want to give some real risk to the position, and expect like a little bit of a move on play. Obviously today's move was drastic. Today's move was $2.81 from low to high, whereas the stock's ATR is probably not even that much. I put not the right ticker. Hold up, PLAY. Yeah, the ATR is 1.94. Today it basically moved $2.81, almost $3 over here. So a little bit past this ATR, but if we do hold up above 53, and if the stock does bring in some extra volume tomorrow, look at that volume, low volume, right? But if we do get some extra fun volume and we hold above 53, there could be some fun over here, but the stock doesn't have any real catalyst, no real reason to hold above here, unless the market's taking off. Maybe the stock doesn't take off. So if 53 doesn't get held for supports, then you got some beautiful shorts right back down into the south side, right? So look out for those moves too. 53 in its resistance, 53 inflection. As for notes, if stock can get above and hold 53, can get long, but failure to hold means shorts. Bullish above 53 and bearish below. Importance, I'm gonna have to put this one on the blue scale, because obviously don't really expect the stock to do anything tomorrow, right? I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna be that guy who has no expectations. That way you don't get hurt. You don't get hurt. Keep life a little bit simple, right? We already have too many expectations on Micron, Riot, Mara. What's the other one over here that we have a little bit expectations for? Nike, CCL. But let's tone it down a little bit for some of these stocks that don't really have a catalyst, don't really have volume going on behind them at the moment. They're just moving because the market's moving, and they recently had maybe earnings reported that took them to some interesting levels to keep an eye on for, okay? So at Play, a little bit of a secondary watch list stock. Moving on from Play, going into SE, because we were interested to see what SE would do on the lows into these ranges, but boy oh boy did SE actually have a monster pop later on in the day. Look at that breakout, consolidated a little bit and then just broke out of that area, just ran to the north side, monster move. Not sure where that move came from, not sure what the catalyst is for this stock, but I guess just showing you that there's enough buying into these lows. The stock tried to get stuffed back, the stock tried to get stuff back down yesterday on the 2 o'clock move, but it didn't successfully break that 30 what's that number, the 35, 34, 80 area, right? Didn't successfully break that 34, 87, 35 area, and today it tried to go down there off the open and consolidated later on in the day. Here's the stock where it tried to go down there off the open, consolidated later on, and just blasted off to the north side with big volume candles coming in too. It looks like a little bit like a catalyst, some sort of a news, some sort of a catalyst. So not sure. I didn't really find anything on this stock specifically to SE, but pretty beautiful to see that coming in. However, I was actually short down over here, so I took a quick little loss on SE. If I did flip long though, boy oh boy, that would have been amazing. Kind of like what I did with Boeing, but geez, this move was absolutely insane on SE. Now, coming back to looking for trades for tomorrow, I'm not really sure I see a trade for tomorrow. I mean, yeah, we popped right back into the earnings anchored VWAP, and there looks to be some sort of a level right into these areas over here. Every couple days or so, we look to have rejected apparently around $38.70, $39. So there could be some level around 39. But look, I'm not really looking to make a decision around 39. The stock is clearly popped above 39 a couple days and then popped right back down, so not really looking to make a decision at 39. So I'm not even going to put anything in my resistance column for 39. We're still going to leave that 34.87/35 area as a support zone, and we're just going to leave the stock alone on our watch list from the colors, because I don't think this one's going to be too important for me unless tomorrow the stock brings in some volume and we actually are looking to pop into pre-market. I need to see the stock above 40 bucks in pre-market for me to be even thinking about going long on the stock tomorrow. I needed to see today's move taking it so much higher tomorrow in pre-market for me to even think that I want to go long on this position. Otherwise, that earnings anchored VWAP most likely pushing the stock right back down in my opinion, and it's going to get sold right back down, or maybe at least trade in these zones, at which point I'm not too interested. So moving on from SE, let's go to some Chinese sector stocks over here. China, because China obviously caused the sell-off yesterday in my opinion, with the Xi coming out and saying he's going to unify Beijing and Taiwan, and that kind of dropped the market. At least the timing of that was so weird that it looked like that was the reason. But yeah, good move on Baidu over here, kind of breaking out the zone or the range right around $116, breaking out that area and moving up to the north side. So shout out to Baidu right over here, 116. Yeah, right into that 116 zone. Is it 116.50, 116.20? Right into 116.20, 116.50 or so, breaking out above that, going a little bit higher. So could be a bigger move tomorrow, maybe, if we do come back and hold these dips. JD kind of joining that party too a little bit. JD had a nice little pop, but looks like JD actually popping right back into resistance and struggling. If JD actually gets above 28, there could be a move to 29 or so for some fun moves over there. So look out for JD at $28. I'm gonna put that one on the blue color scheme. JD inflection will also be 28. If stock can get above and hold 28, could look for long, but 29 could show as rejection, so be careful. Bullish above 28, careful at 29, bullish above 29. Okay, so that's for JD. Next up, Chewy. Nice little pop-up on Chewy. I actually remember seeing this, but I don't think I made a trade on Chewy today at all. I think I was waiting to short this area, which never really came into play. I was waiting around a pop above 25, and that pop above 25 came into the close, so it couldn't really do anything around that time. The stock's still not into the resistance that we're waiting to see what would happen into 25.30. We got into 25, yay, but we're still not at 25.30, and that's the main level. So in my opinion, we still gotta wait to see what happens around that price. As for support, we still have that same area around 23 as support, and I'm not waiting for any other price before 23 for the stock. Tomorrow's inflection, in my opinion, will be the higher price point into 25.30. So if the stock can get above and hold 25, could see for a breakout of 25.30, but if stock cannot get above and hold 25.30 on bids, maybe a short back through 25 to the downside. Okay, so bullish above 25.30. Oh, my arrows. Bullish above 25.30, bearish below 25, bullish above 23. Although I don't think the stock is going down to 23 tomorrow. That would be a little bit too crazy, especially after this breakout today. At best, maybe the stock goes down somewhere down to $24, maybe $24.50. So be careful for that. Don't expect the stock to go too much lower. Importance, I think, will be on the orange scale, especially if we continue to bring in some volume on this stock. Nice little move back into resistances, and let's see if those previous resistances turn into supports, or do previous resistances show resistances again, allow us to get short and push the stock right back down. Let's take a quick break over here. Take a look at what the chat's talking about. Chat, good evening, Brad. I smashed the like button. Thank you, John. You're the best. I always love looking at your messages in the chat, on the offline chats. Offline comment section. Man, you're the best. You always bring in the energy for me, especially at that time of the night where I'm like so tired, and then I'm reading the comments and I'm like, thankful that at least John's watching, or someone's watching, right? At least someone's watching, and John's over here putting in the comments. John's being active. So very, very happy that people are here to begin with. It's like Dieter, like Blind Jedi, like Momo. You guys are awesome. Thank you, all of you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Going to the next one over here. Looks like what's going on? Prad, have any input on Intel? Again from John. Intel, I don't really see this as a day trading stock. What? Yeah, okay. I don't have this in my portfolio anymore, so I can delete that number. Yeah, wow. Intel looks beautiful, if you ask me, honestly. Looks beautiful. I love this. Maybe there's an actual long over here on Intel that we don't even know about. A hidden long. Right above, what is that price? 47.30. If we can get above that price, maybe we actually break out and start having some fun to the north side on Intel. Shout out to you. Thank you for bringing this into my radar. Kind of have been ignoring Intel, I'll be honest. We did have AMD on my watch list, but I don't even see myself trading AMD tomorrow. But I'm gonna put Intel right above AMD over here. Let's take a quick look at Intel again on the longer time frame. Nice supports being built into wherever this line comes from. I'm gonna borrow that line real quick. You know what? I'm just gonna delete that line instead of being an idiot. Put in a support right around over here, and then we have a resistance right around over there. So there is a good chance that Intel, if the market's looking long and there is no free fall Friday tomorrow, Intel could just, pull back, find some supports into these areas, and then just launch to the north side. So I would love for a trade on Intel, especially if we can hold above 47.30. If we can hold above 47.30, where does Intel want to go from there? Possibly $50. Not saying that happens in one day, Well, we could just see some move into 50 or something. That could be fun. Right? That could be something to keep an eye out for. So putting Intel on the watch list. I'm going to color it orange just to be safe. Intel resistance 47.30. Intel support 45.50. Inflection point 47.30. If stock can get above 47.30 and hold, could get long. Bullish above 47.30, bearish below 47. Keep that in mind, bearish below 47. Could get long, L-O-N-G. Oh, I can't spell long. Come on, Prad. Okay, and that's the notes. Yeah, pretty much that's all I'm looking for. I mean, if it does dip back into 45.50, we could look for a long there, and that's pretty obvious because we already have it in our notes as a support area. I don't think I need to put it in separate notes section for that one, but the 47.30, what I want to do with it, the plan for that is there. Okay, Boeing did try to break out of this, you know, kind of like what Intel was looking, but wow, look at Boeing on the daily chart. Just a monster charge move all the way to the north side, especially ever since earnings report came out, which was a little bit of a mixed earnings report, but a monster charge move to the upside. A little bit of a fail breakout of this area today, though. That 266 area where I tried to get long didn't work out. Then I flipped short. Great short right back into yesterday's close of 260. I wish I held it all the way back down there. That would have been a monster move for me to hold, but hey, didn't do it. Whatever. Nana boo boo. But now the question is, does this support right back into this amazing 4-day hold? 1, 2, 3, 4 days of holding into this 260.25. Looks like we haven't been able to trade a cent below on every single one of those days after the open. That's actually wonderful. Like, insane. Look at that. We did trade a little bit under over here, a little bit after hours under, but every single day we just haven't been able to get under 260.25. So that's how important that level was. My goodness, if I had known that, I would have smashed the long way harder at that moment when I had the long on Boeing. But yeah, you saw what happened. Overall, it tried to hold 260.25, 260 area again today. It did so successfully, but it looked like it was going to be ready to break past that. So that is my very important level on Boeing tomorrow. They did have a strong catalyst today. Oh, I put the color scheme for Boeing as blue. I'm going to change that to orange. They did have a pretty strong catalyst today, in my opinion, with the China news. But if that China news was not strong enough for the market, then 260 should be breaking and we should be crumbling below to the north, to the south side. I'm going to put another area real quick on my notes, 257.15, and I'm going to put that as the 9 bar on daily. 9 bar on daily. So that area we could break, drop down, fake out, and then pop right back up from there. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So I'm just getting myself prepared for that. For the resistances, I mean, I think we're still waiting to see into that same 266 area to come into play. So I'm just going to put 266 over here for that resistance on Boeing, and not really worry about what the stock does on the move up before that. As for inflection, it's that 260. Is that simple. Stock needs to hold 260 to even think about long. Bullish if stock can hold 260. Okay. Carvana. Looked like Carvana did something fun today, if I remember. Nah, it was just an inside day. Boring little inside day on Carvana. Maybe we expected this, if I remember accurately. Don't really remember if we were expecting an inside day on Carvana or not. But that's exactly what happened. An inside day. That double top level now kind of doesn't matter at all because of how the stock moved yesterday, right? That double top move level mattered a little bit because once we broke out, we were using that as a support. But then after the 2 o'clock selling came into the market yesterday and we broke that area, we got under that area, and then we actually bounced off of this high instead. That level kind of doesn't really matter anymore. I'm gonna leave that line there just hanging out for fun, to see if that level can, you know, show buying later on. But right now for tomorrow, we're not using that to make a decision out of. In my opinion, we're still waiting to see what happens all the way back down to 56 or even 55.50. to see if supports come into those lows, and if stock is actually holding above 57 properly, maybe we can look for a trade there. Carvana, just because of how it traded yesterday and how it traded today, inside day today, I'm expecting another inside day tomorrow on the stock, so not going to be worried to make too much of a trade on this one. I'm just going to put it in my notes, expecting another inside day. So maybe no trade, or wait near yesterday's edges. Importance, color, blue. Bang. Let's go to the next one. AI, expecting the same thing. A little bit of an inside day. Yeah, inside day, boring, nothing happening over here. Moving on. Disney. At least it's finding support in that zone, which is good. This zone's a little choppy, but it is finding support into that 91 area so far. Looks like we got right into 91 today and bounced right off of that 91 zone. Let's zoom in on the 5-minute chart. A little choppy off the open, as was the market. Makes sense, but then 91 holding was the key area where you could have looked for a long, and then we move right back to the north side on Disney. But as for a day trade tomorrow, I mean, we're just in range. We're just in a range over here. Doesn't really, grind my gears to get me excited to trade the stock. If 91 shows up as support again, maybe we could look for a trade off of there. And then obviously we have this little zone of a resistance where the stock is kind of rejecting. Looks like 94.50 to 95. So I'm just going to put that zone of area in my notes over here. And the Disney, I'm just going to leave it in white. Just white. Not important for me. Next one over here, the stock that nobody ever cares about, ever. It's trying to take out that 2830. It's trying to take out that 2830. So resistance 2830. The support, I'm still going to want to use 2730, but we are actually making higher lows at the moment. So there is a chance that one of these higher lows actually shows up as support. You're even watching the 9 bar at the moment come in at 2753. One thing to keep in mind, that the 9 bar is under the 20 bar. Basically what that means is the stock is still in a bearish trend. The SMAs are all pointing to the downside. They are still on a steep downhill. So is the earnings anchored VWAP. The earnings anchored VWAP hasn't flattened out yet, not indications of a reversal of a trend. Usually when an earnings anchored VWAP flattens out, then the reversal of a trend is kind of more of an indication, not 100% true indication, but more of an indication that way. I'm only saying this out loud because I don't want people to think that, hey, the stock is getting ready to get long. This stock is getting ready to go test some resistances. If we can get above the resistances and actually hold, then maybe it's a long. In my opinion, I'm still getting ready to short the shit out of this position. If it does pop up, I'm expecting a failed break out of this 2830 and then driving right back to the south side. That's actually what happened today off the open, if I remember correctly. So right over here, we went above 2830, immediate dive right back under 2830, rejected, and then flushed. But later on in the day, as the market popped back up, I guess, this garbage ass company popped up along with it too. But 2830 is still the wall, in my opinion, for this position. And for supports, I'm still watching what happens at 2730, because like I said, the EMAs, the SMAs, they're all pointing straight down. There's still a lot of selling in the stock. The stock is still in a downtrend, and you don't need the EMAs and the SMAs to tell you the stock is in a downtrend, right? You don't need that. You can look at the stock and just, yeah, Prad, that's in the downtrend. Yeah, Prad, that's in the downtrend, right? And yeah, Prad, this is in an uptrend, right? You don't need these EMAs and these SMAs to tell you that. You can just see it and tell it. But for those of you who can't understand that, who can't comprehend that, saying it out loud. ANF. Boy, oh boy, what a stock. I can't believe this position. Honestly, like, is there even a point ranting about it? right? Like, there's no point in ranting about it. Let's just look for the trade. 92 looks like it's a support. We opened up right at 92, and then we came back to around 92, held 92, popped back up. So on ANF, if the stock can hold $92, possible chances to get long over there. And then today's high right around 94, possible resistance to the 94, infliction 92. If stock can hold 92, could look for long. Bullish above 92 and bearish below. Yeah, easily bearish below for the next level to the downside of $90. Easily bearish below. However, this one's importance goes to blue, higher than Pfizer. That's right, higher than Pfizer. Let's go back to chat over here. TraderPrad heard my name, does not want to look at Ford when it's a very nice level. Nope, don't care. Disney still bouncing on earnings VWAP. Is it? Like bouncing, like rejecting? Where did it go? It disappeared. Okay, there you go. There it is. Yeah, no, it is bouncing. You're right. You're 100% right. Earnings VWAP. It is still bouncing, looking good. Are you like long-term trading this stuff now, Dieter? I see you. Are you swing trading stocks now? You said Mara long for you too, right? You're using this these anchored VWAPs off of earnings and you're swinging them. I like it, dude. Look at you go. I should start doing it, honestly. I'm just being a little lazy. Yeah. Dieter over there killing it, boys. Dieter not only making money off of his side businesses, well, that's his main businesses, but now my boy is killing it on the stock market too. I like it. But Disney was doing nothing and you sold it. But at least you tried. Not bad. I like it, Dieter. I love to see that. We just talked about ANF. The next stock over here we got is DraftKings. We know DraftKings has a solid support area over here. We did try to shake that support area yesterday, but we got right back above it today. So beautiful hold of that 3450, 3455 area on is it 55 or 50? I'm gonna say 3450. Nice and easy, 3450 holding on DraftKings. So if you can continue to hold that area, possible longs to build into. I'm just only gonna leave the 3450 level on DraftKings to watch out for. NIO, I would say $8, but we have like 830 as a possible resistance. So even if 8 holds, I don't think you should technically get long above 8. So, and the ranges are dying, the volume's dying, the catalyst was like, yeah, bullish, but then the stock's not really trading bullish at all. I think I'm going to be patient. I'll just wait for the stock to get above 850 for me to care about a trade on NIO. For now, I'm just going to let the stock do its thing. It's just being dumb. It's being dumb. It's being a Palantir. It's being a Palantir. So we're going to leave those stocks alone. Let's go to CRM. CRM moving into this $270 area now after forming a nice little base around the earnings anchor VWAP, forming a nice little base and now moving into $270 area, which is a level that we have from all the way of 2020 apparently. It's an even dollar area. Let's see what the stock does into 270. There's a good chance that that price comes into play tomorrow, especially if we can get above today's high around 268.30 to 269, let's say. If it does get above 268, let's not say 269, let's round it down. If it does get above 268, I don't know why the stock doesn't go to 270. So we can wait around 270 to make a decision to possibly get short on a fail break of 270, or to look for a breakout of 270 and see if we can join that party on a holding of 270 and so on. So looking for that price to come into play. The 9 bar is at 260, and that's also, nah, that's not today's low. Today's low is 264. I'm just gonna say 260 because I think 260 could easily come into play. CRM does move like in $10 ranges. However, today was only a $5 range. If I go here and put in the ATR for CRM, please tell me 10. No, it's only 560. Okay, so maybe it doesn't move $10 at all. All right, in that case, possible supports around 265. In that case, yeah, we'll just put in today's low, 264, and then under 264, I'll put in 260 to keep an eye out for on CRM. Color blue until 270 comes into play, in my opinion. Inflection is that 270. If stock does not have buying above 270, could get short on a fail break, but if buying can get long above it. Bullish above 270, but bearish below. Wow, my stomach is rumbling, chat. I am starving. My body is eating itself. Thankfully, there's only 1,500 more goddamn stocks left on the watch list right now. Okay, the next one, Rivian. Rivian's not primed up yet. It did do a nothing dance today, a little bit of an inside candle. We're still waiting for Rivian to wake up, go up to the north side, so we'll wait for that one. Unity, I mean, that 40 area is pretty important, but then we got above it and then we got back under it, and today was the rejection of 40. So Unity, maybe if we can get above 40, oop, wrong box. Unity, if we can get above 40 and hold above 40, possible trade over there. If stock can hold 40 on bids, could think about long for a move into 41.35s or so. Inflection 40. Resistance after 40 will be 41.35. Next stock I have is UPST. Ooh, a little bit of a range forming on UPST. Possible supports into that 43.50 area. But an inside day based on yesterday's move. Maybe no trade on UPST for now. No trade on a firm for me either. Honestly, yeah, look at that today's range, to look at today's candle compared to the last 2 days. The stock might just do exactly that for the next few days. So be ready for that one. RBLX, did you break out yet? No. Oh, come on, Roblox. We're still waiting for Roblox around this 45.15 area. Still hasn't come into play, but good support still off of that 43 area on Roblox. So nice supports off of 43 still. So watching that area on Roblox, putting it on the blue color, inflection 45.15 or 43. If stock is near inflection levels, look for a hold or reject. Bullish above 45 and bearish below. I'm going to say 45.15 actually, because that's a level. 45.15, bearish below. Bullish above 43, and not really thinking the stock goes under 43 at all. Yeah, I don't think the stock goes below 43, honestly. Roku successfully holding above these areas that we were looking to come into play, and actually you saw the earnings anchored VWAP coming into play, successfully bouncing off the earnings anchored VWAP. So maybe some moves to the north side to take part in. Maybe if it takes out yesterday's high didn't even come into play today. We had a little bit of a muted move on Roku, so maybe if we do push into yesterday's high, that could be some fun over there. But look how Roku's volume's dying out. I don't think the stock's actually going to be in play tomorrow, so we're gonna move away from Roku real quick. Go instead talk about some of these large cap stocks that look more fun, such as maybe Apple, nah, not Apple, maybe AMD. Ooh, maybe if AMD can get above this 141.25 or 140 in general, but 140 is not a level anymore, right? 140 is not even a level anymore. We've been chopped around near that level quite a bit, so 140 is not a level at all. So you're kind of watching like 141, 141.25 technically to see what the stock does, maybe even 142 to see what the stock does. AMD will leave it in the back burners. Let's go see what Amazon's looking like. Amazon 155, 156-ish. Some of these stocks are all kind of just, gearing up for a possible breakout just in case the market breaks out. So I think that's the overall story over here. Meta did make a new high, but then dip right back to the south side. Microsoft holding off in this range. It did look like it wanted to get above that range high slightly, but then holding off in this range. If I remember, maybe I traded Meta today or Microsoft today. I can't remember, honestly. Google getting up to kind of get active again. We saw how active it got up yesterday. I think I got short yesterday on Google. No, I think I got long. I can't remember anything. Too much Zaza. Nvidia 500, that level should come back into play if the market's breaking out to the north side, so you want to watch out for Nvidia. Obviously, all these levels are very, very, very important on the large caps, only if the QQQ is getting ready to get a little fun again to the north side. This is the FOMC anchored VWAP, and we basically held the FOMC anchored VWAP on the way down today and got back up. That looks a little bullish to me. Yesterday's move, very, very bearish, but today's move, pretty decent. Not gonna say amazingly bullish, but pretty decent to the point where we could possibly look for another move back into that previous all-time high, which was 408.71, and the new all-time high, which is 410.47. So if we can get above 409, 410 and look strong on the market, that's gonna take all of these other stocks such as Apple, Nvidia, Netflix, all of them to the north side. So you want to keep an eye out for what the QQQ is doing for the tech basket specifically. IWM Russell will probably help your small cap stocks, not probably, will be helping your small cap stocks. We need to get above 200 and actually not get back below 200. The real level, however, for me is 199. But if we can get above 200 and not get below 200, that's a lot more bullish than waiting to see if 199 is holding. So get above 200, stop slacking above 200, and actually break out of 202 and keep on jailbreaking. That's going to be the bullish indication for IWM. S&P 500 still not at all-time high. So S&P 500 is the one that we're waiting to kind of catch up with the QQQ. And this is what I believe will dictate if the QQQ has juice to kind of go higher or not. If the SPY can start breaking out, start going towards this 480 area, then obviously the QQQ is going to be much higher than 410. And this is where I'm going to keep my eyes on. I'm going to be watching the lagger a little bit. If the lagger can start carrying to the north side, then that's going to be my signal to go long on the even stronger sector, which is the tech sector. Easy long on the tech sector if the SPYs are breaking out to the north side, at least in my opinion. But if the trade is a little bit opposite, like if the SPY is relatively stronger than the QQQs, then I'm just going to possibly dive into the SPYs and look for the long opportunities. So far, I've only been screaming long, long, long. There is a good chance that tomorrow ends up being a free fall Friday. So be prepared for that one too. And the chances that tomorrow ends up being a free fall Friday through the economic calendar, let's go see if that's high or low. We have pretty decent economic calendar events for tomorrow. Quite a bit of them are 3-star building permits, core durable goods coming in, durable goods orders, PCE, Michigan inflation. We've seen that one move the market a couple times. What is this? Real person consumption? What the hell is that? Personal spending, new home sales. So obviously a lot of events throughout the day, most of them coming in at 8:30 or 10 o'clock. So you might have to watch out for those two time periods tomorrow, around 8:30 and around 10 o'clock. And hopefully some of these numbers help the market continue staying green and keeping our long-term portfolio screaming to the north side. Because if these numbers come out bad, that could just kind of open up the fear in the market once again for what happened yesterday and get pushed right back to the south side. Today's rally was a little bit of a relief rally where, you know, we were like, thank God, wiping out the sweat off of our foreheads. So we weren't getting happy off of that. But let's see what happens. For anyone who wants to sign up for my watch list that we just made, all with the notes and whatnot over here, if you want to sign up to the watch list, you can do so on our Patreon, which will support me. You can support me. It's completely optional. Obviously, the watch list was talked about on stream just for you, just right now, all live. We talked about every single stock on there that we might be interested for. So the watch list is absolutely free. But if you want to support me, you can go to my Patreon. It will help me, pay for a pizza slice every now and then, help me get to work every now and then. So you can support me on Patreon. Do !Patreon in the chat for that link. Please don't forget to sign up for the giveaway. Do ! Giveaway also in the chat, and go sign up for the giveaway if you haven't already. Along with that, all the other fun stuff, all my social media, all my affiliate sponsor links, you know where they are, straight down below in the description. As for the second part of the stream over here, I'm going to hit you guys with an ad, obviously, before I go get some dinner for myself, and we're going to be watching a new S&B Capital video and possibly learn from that. But before I even do that, let me show you something really hilarious. So here we have Jimmy Boy talking about how Tesla will struggle in 2024. I think he just called the bottom on Tesla, lads. I think Jimmy Boy just called the bottom on Tesla.
With the exception of Tesla, which I believe will struggle next year as the bloom is off the electric rose. Yeah, we nailed it. We nailed it for you. With the exception of Tesla, which I believe will struggle next year as the bloom is off the electric rose. Yeah, we nailed it. We nailed it for you.
That seems fake. Wait, is this real? Like, why does it seem like he's having a stroke?
Yeah, we nailed it. We nailed it for you. With the exception.
Why does he why does he sound like that? What the hell? Why does he sound like that? But anyways, looked like he just called the bottom for Tesla. So if you are not ready yet for tomorrow's insane rally Tesla is going to have, breaking 260, going up to 300 tomorrow, get ready. You heard it here first. Jim Cramer called the bottom on Tesla, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jimmy Boy. Now we just wait and watch and wait and watch. I don't know, whatever the term is. Let's head over to the S&B Capital video we want to watch. But like I said, I'm going to quickly... Oh, what the hell? What the hell? I'm going to quickly go get some food. And then we're going to be watching this video together. But before that... Stop it. But before that, BRB, chat. Hey, you there. Yeah, you with the Manscaped shirt. Are you tired of decoding the stock market? Are you looking like this guy, always lost after every single day? Well, look no further. Today, we got a brand new offer for you from TraderSync. This software will help you identify exactly where you're losing, where you're winning, and how to maximize your profits. Use code PRAD15 at the checkout. If you start journaling your trades, you will start trading better, and you will start looking like this guy. So what are you waiting for? Go on out there, go get yourself a TraderSync discount, use code PRAD15, and they also have a Black Friday sale going on with 65% off. Don't be late. All right, we back, baby. We back. We back, baby. We back. All right. Don't be late to your stream tomorrow. I don't have a stream tomorrow. Show up to my stream Monday, bruh. Show up to my stream Monday, bruh. All right. Clap, clap, clap. First, let me show you guys what I'm eating. We're gonna be eating cheese sticks and chips. Cheese sticks and chips. But what? Oh, let me pause that. I didn't hear that. I didn't know I said that. Christmas Day, Monday. It is Monday. Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna give this like 2 seconds of silence. Okay, good. Because this way, now when I'm editing the video, I know exactly where to start cutting the video for me to post this after hours. All right. Where are we? We're going to be reacting to an SMB Capital video. Oh, let me just do this instead. Okay, here we go. We're going to be reacting to an SMB Capital video where they talk about how to basically use trend lines, the best trend line trading strategy. Obviously, a great channel, SMB Capital video. Go check them out if you haven't already. And this one is straight from my live stream. Holy shit, I'm screwing this up. You know what? Why am I trying to even fake it? I'm just going to go with the flow, baby. Go with the flow. That's what I like to do naturally. So let's start it off fresh. Today we're going to be reacting to the best trend line trading strategy from SMB Capital. So let's go check out what this video is talking about.
You've heard of trend lines, but you probably haven't heard of the surprising ways that professional traders at world-class trading firms use them. In this video, you'll learn the #1 little-known strategy that combines 3 trend line techniques for maximum trading results. I'm Mike Bellafiore, and we're one of the top proprietary trading firms located in New York City and proud to have developed numerous 7 and even 8-figure per year traders. Watch, take notes, and learn so you can grow your trading account.
It's actually crazy. Mike Bellafiore and this guy who's about to come up on the screen next, they came up on a podcast with Humble Trader, and there was a little snippet from that where Mike Bellafiore goes, if you're trying to be a day trader only to make 100K a year, don't apply to our platform or our prop firm. If you're trying to be a six-figure trader or more, then apply to our firm. That's how serious these guys are. They only try to grow real traders. And if you're not making the cut, they know what type of traders can make it and cannot make it. You don't work there anymore. You get kicked out. This content that they post here, absolutely free gold. So let's go learn from it.
Really excited to dive in today because these are opportunities that work. They work in a couple different ways, and they work for a couple of very specific reasons, which we're about to cover. We really had a ton of fun putting this video together because we worked with a trader on the desk who has this really great reputation for trading trend lines, but he didn't really always have that reputation. In fact, kind of early on in his trading career, this trader was working to establish his consistency. You know, the first goal on our desk is always consistency.
Yeah.
Right? The first goal on our desk is always consistency. So this trader was particularly notorious for adding lines, adding trend lines to his charts. So
astrology.
Oftentimes when we'd be talking about an idea, you'd look over at his chart and it would look something like this. He joked that his philosophy was, if you draw enough lines, eventually some of them will work.
Oh my God.
But kind of this interesting thing happened. He started to study and analyze every single line he put on his chart,
something will
and he
work.
learned which
if you
ones
throw
made the
enough
most
shit
sense
on the
to
wall,
him,
something will stick, basically.
and which ones responded the right way. So one day he put up the biggest day of his career. A couple days later, he put up an even bigger day. When we kind of asked him to share what he was doing that worked so well, he jokingly kind of laughed and he goes, yeah, I'm trading trend lines. In reality, he'd been studying and getting better and seeing what worked and what didn't, figuring out why that worked, and everything started to pay off, and he was able to explain exactly what he meant by that trend line break. And he was willing to share with us, which led us to have this presentation, share 3 of his best trend line trading strategies.
Okay.
You can't get into the strategies without properly identifying an important trend line. And what he's shared and what we're using here is a 3-step process to stack the edges for strategies that we'll go into next. So not all lines are created equal. So let's start by qualifying a really good trend line. To start, there needs to be a distinct point where the trend line starts, where it makes sense for the trend line to start from. So we can't just look at a chart and draw trend lines on it. There has to be a starting point where it would make sense that the stock or the product that we're trading starts to trend from.
Mm-hmm.
On our desk, this usually is a fundamental change in a catalyst, but it can also be a shift in the setup.
Like earnings or something?
Like this distinct shift in the price action. That's what we call that shift in the setup.
Okay.
It's any time that the way the traders that are participating in the stock or the futures product, anytime that there's a distinct change. Once we have that distinct point where a trend line could start from, we take a step back, we zoom out, and we make sure we're looking at least 60 bars on any time frame. So 60 candles, 60 bars, whatever you want to call it. If you're using 1-minute bars, that's about an hour of time. 2-minute bars, you're looking at 2 hours of time. 5-minute bars, you're looking at 5 hours. 15-minute bars, you're looking at 15 hours, or about 3 trading days. 60-minute bars, you're looking at 60 hours, so about 10 days.
Okay, we got the math, bro. You can expand this
out as needed as your time frames expand, but these are actually really common
we got
ways
the math,
you'll
dude.
see charts set up on the desk anyway. So that's why we need to see that 60 bar
begin at the beginning. TH, you're such a troll, dude.
Interchangeable on the time frame. So if you just take 60 bars, you can kind of get a good sense of the trend lines. So these tend to be the same across any product traded also. So that 60 bars can cover just about any product. Then it gets way easier for us to draw the trend lines. Third, we connect the first 2 major points.
TH is a troll.
So the first 2 major points tend to be the first 2 distinct.
So you start at the starting point. Okay, got it.
Sloping trend line that we have, or distinct lower highs for a downsloping trend line. You'll notice we were talking about counter trend points initially, as we're identifying a new trend most of the time. So when we're thinking about a trend line, we're thinking about that counter trend initially, so that higher high, and then, but more importantly, those higher lows. Now, this is the part that gets most people hung up, and some people even really heated, the thing we're about to talk about. There are lots of arguments about wicks versus bodies.
Okay.
Here's a general guide we use on the desk.
Let me hear it.
If the first candle, that initial candle that started this whole thing off.
Yeah, that's right.
If
that's
it
what
had
that's
a
what I
wick,
use.
we will connect the wicks. We will use the wicks.
That's true.
If it
I'm
didn't,
truing right now. That's
we'll
true.
use the bodies of the candle. So the wick versus the body is this discussion that centers around what our expectations are. And we ground our expectations with whatever data is actually there. When we look at that initial candle that all this is starting from, was it a wick or was it a body? This is just telling us information about how the stock is trading. So now we can press into the 3 strategies that we can use. But I kind of want to go back because people do get so hung up. They draw trend lines that look great, but then the price action doesn't respond to the trend lines in the way they expect. So the trend line just doesn't work, and they say trend line trading doesn't work. So let's take a step and let's set the stage on how to address this. Trend line trading is not about what is happening. It's not magical that a trend line is happening.
Quantify what a trend line is and what is a trend and what is not a trend.
And that's really going to work every time. That's not what's happening. Why it's happening and who is making it happen is going to identify what a trend line is and if the trend line will work. What a trend line is it's a line that measures a trend.
What did he just say?
The trend is created by why something is happening and who is creating that.
Okay.
So an identifiable series of higher highs and, again, that most important, higher lows.
Okay, but how do I know who's creating that?
That's created by traders. Why is it created? Who's creating it? Those are the stories of trend lines, not what is happening. The two things that we notice that can
created by cows.
Are passive buy
created by
programs
cows
for longs or passive.
It's created by bulls and bears, actual bulls and bears.
And it's really driven by participants that are being a little bit moderately price sensitive.
Okay, we got that.
An office and down the street from our office are a ton of stores, right? The shoppers that shop in the stores on Fifth Avenue.
I guess he's saying it this way because he's making it more.
The price sensitive traders are the
stupid friendly,
shopping at like
trader for trading for dummies 101 type of thing.
You know, somebody that wants good prices and really decent quality.
That's why he said you begin at the beginning, because he's explaining how to draw a trend line is, right?
This concept can really quickly describe the trend lines we're actually looking for. When the price comes in, the buyers are going to act appropriately. There will be a little bit of extra demand. When prices go up, they're going to have some extra supply. They're not willing to pay up and chase for it, but when it comes in, they're willing to buy. They're not going to buy super aggressively and run it higher either. The trend is going to remain as long as the same participants are acting in the same manner. Why we had to set the stage was because this little insight was really the breakthrough moment that led that trader to have that breakout day and then have that follow-up breakout day later. It's also the insight that is going to lead to the next 3 trend line trades we're about to talk about. So the first one is just very straightforward. It's trend trading off a trend line. This is probably the most common use of a trade, is when there's a clear trend established, and we'll start by talking about a failed breakout, right? Something tried to break out and then tried again and failed.
Oh, okay,
and
that's cool.
That's where the new trend was established.
Yeah, okay.
We identified that range.
Yeah.
Broke out. Came back in and then confirmed
the
failed breakout. Once it confirmed the failed breakout, that is where that new trend potentially started from.
Yep.
Then we get to come in and we get a distinct second point, that second lower high.
Right side of the V.
All of a sudden have that trend line that we can connect to. And then the key is just to go with it because nothing has changed. Something changed giving us this setup to begin with, that failed breakout. But then that trend line just keeps walking down and down and down. So our expectations for that trade is essentially that traders are going to short. Every time it comes up to that trend line, they're going to continue to short, continue to short, continue to short. That provides us with the trading opportunities we're looking for.
Yeah, but you want to be short. But you want to be short here. After this failed breakout, you want to be short, risking this high. And then, obviously, you probably add somewhere here when it's actually breaking down. Maybe you add somewhere here. Take some profits. Then you have this failed pop coming in and a lower pop. That allows you to put the trend line in. You can probably add to your position there. Take some profits on this pop. Add to your position there. Get that lot back. And then take some profits out on this pop or this pop. And then once that trend line is getting rejected again, or if you don't have the trade already, you might be waiting for VWAP to come into play. The stock has clearly shown that it can trade under VWAP. It's pulling back towards VWAP and towards trend line. You can then look to build a new position somewhere here, risking that high, or somewhere here, right under VWAP, risking that high, looking for a bigger continuation move throughout the day into the end or so, or even a swing trade. If this is not an intraday chart, this is like a swing term chart, then that's how you probably look to enter that trade. But you technically wouldn't have this trend line already out right off the bat. You have this information. Ignore all of this right side information. You probably getting short on this pop over here, After this fail, you're risking that high, you're adding over here. After this high comes in is when you're putting the trend line in. And all that trend line now offers you is chances to look for places where you can reload your positions. The stock popped up, instantly rejected. The body was rejecting. Now you're seeing wick rejections, which is more aggressive selling, right? Wick rejection. So that's even better than that rejection. That rejection is much better than this rejection or even this rejection, allowing you to get nice little shorts back in. Once again, wick rejection, and then we get some body rejections again. That looks a little, maybe the trend is kind of normalizing, a lower low, higher low coming back in, but a lower high. We see a little bit of a wedge pattern here, and then the wedge breaks and the stock continues to go a little bit more lower. But obviously those are all like pattern tradings. This is where you first would technically enter, and then the trend line comes in after.
It is because algorithms aren't people. If somebody puts on a sell program that's going to passively sell
good
up
point.
into
This is a good point.
with a very distinct end to that program, that sell program is actually an algo that is going to lose on the last one. It's going to put on that trade every time that opportunity gets presented. Take it off when it moves favorably. But every time that happens, it's going to put that trade on until it stops working. It's going to lose on the last one, but that's fine. It won on all the other ones. So it's really going to think at the end of the day about all of those trades as one whole trade. It's not going to care about that last one because it's just going to lump it in with all the other P&L. The second trading strategy that we're going to have here is range trading off a trend line. So
like
we're
a
going to
channel?
find an intraday range move with a trend. Like, a lot of times this is a pattern that will happen in low floats or something that's pulled back intraday, but it's actually very, very strong. It's a pattern we call the post and flag.
Yeah.
There's this unique twist to it that we're going to cover. And it was one of those kind of supplemental scalps that was added by our trader who made a living by drawing trend lines on the chart. So he observed that one of his best trend line trades was not actually the line he had drawn, but the line that generally followed the price action. So what happened was he stopped predicting. He saw that initial flag, and then he would allow the price action to occur. And he didn't actually have to predict what was going to happen. The price action was predicting what was going to happen for him. So he traded based on that. So he would be in from really good prices. But then he noticed he could just basically flag trade that. So he'd buy in and sell up, buy in, sell up,
scalp the range.
It gave him the room to really just trade the range. Stocks are in range most of the time, even when they're trending. So if they're trending to the upside, a lot of times they're trending in a range. We can't trade everything this way. But when we can identify it, and really when the stock identifies it for us, which a lot of times occurs from a very specific setup where there's a distinct change, and then that first higher low gets put in. Afterwards, we have those two connecting spots, and then we can just look for the price action to follow that along. And it'll trade up and down and give us enough volatility that we can range trade a trend line.
Okay.
What we don't want to get into and what we have to avoid is when we're trading a range that's actually a consolidation. That's one little hiccup on this, because if it goes up and stops range trading and goes into a consolidation, remember the difference between a range and a consolidation is a range can last as long as it wants to. A consolidation is simply a range with a pending resolution present. So a lot of times that's a distinct change in the price action that's trading within a range. That's what we call a consolidation. That distinct change suggests that there is a pending resolution. So we don't take a consolidation trade off of trend lines. We take range trades off of trend lines. Our third and final one is one that is a little bit different, but it's so effective. And the trader that kind of brought us these strategies, that kind of worked with us on these strategies, I actually asked him if we could cut it, and he said, absolutely not. This is one that is so important to share. You really want to make sure that you're covering it. Anchored VWAP as a trend line. So let's think about what we think of with most trend lines.
They didn't want to talk about it. He said
price.
cut it because they didn't want to
really
talk
focus
about it.
just on price, the price action. And the price action defines the trend line. Anchored VWAP is a trend line incorporating price from that defined moment that we talked about earlier, but then it also layers on volume. So when we were talking about this, when we were brainstorming this meeting, the entire idea here is that anchored VWAP can be this really effective trend line when used appropriately. And what's a way to use it appropriately? A day 2 with resistance becoming support on a first move lower into a 2-day VWAP. This is really just a classic day 2 setup, and the concept remains exactly the same as if we draw the line on the chart. We are not drawing the trend line. The VWAP from that key point, which is that day 1. So the day 1 has to have a big catalyst, it has to have a big move, it has to have big volume. The price action from that first day VWAP can guide us when we look at the anchored VWAP from that first day. It's actually a super effective strategy because all you're doing is buying into that trend line, very distinct stop below once the price action moves away, and you're moving your stop up as the price action works with you. All right, so we've talked about those
Basically 3, one of my setups.
But there's actually a fourth.
Now he's talking about my setup. Thank you.
There was a really good example of it the other day, and it was so clear to all of us when we were talking about it, we felt like we really needed to share it. So the number 4 strategy that you can use for trend line trading that you'll see traders on the desk use all the time is trend line break and retests. So this is when you have a trend line, it breaks, and it retests. This truly is a counter trend trade. But it's a big moment. That trend line break is always a big moment. But it's so frustrating sometimes to trade a distinct trend line break because what can happen so often is that it'll retest the backside of the trend line. And if you're trading the trend line break and your stop is the trend line, sometimes you'll even get stopped out. So you're going to let the trend line break happen, then let it test the backside of the trend line. And then you can take that easy scalp because it was kind of the last attempt of those traders that were trading with the trend. Once that trend line is broken and then it tests and it can't get back up with the trend line, they kind of know the trade's over. That gives us a really good scalp.
Okay.
You know, that backside of the trend line trade, it isn't for anyone. But it's a scalp I really like waiting for. And when we were brainstorming this, traders on the desk really liked that concept. So let's cover a couple key takeaways. When you start scalping or trading off of trend lines, you kind of might start trying to take trend line trades on their own, right? We just talked about those breaks of trend lines. And you might think about trend line trades in isolation, but there are just so many variables associated with those that it kind of becomes super important to understand what trade you're actually making and then use the trend line break as an add-on to that trade, like as an extra kicker for taking that trade. So we're not saying replace your trading with trend lines. What we're saying is use the trend lines as a check in your favor for a trade, because this stacks the odds in your favor.
And that will help you hold the trade longer too.
We like to adapt,
right? It will help you hold the trade longer. It would help you hold your winners longer. Maybe add to your winners
when there are more participants.
It's so good. I like it.
Sure
I like
the
it.
stocks in play
Obviously,
to start
a lot of people use it, but this is for some people that don't.
And then the little adjustments that you're going to make are really going to matter more on things that are in play. Otherwise, you're going to have more false trend line breaks. The more people that are trading something in play, the more in play a stock is or a product is. When you get that trend line to set up, more eyes are on that. It's going to work better simply because there are more people thinking and acting in the same way that you are. So when you can find really good in-play products and really good in-play stocks, they tend to respect trend lines a little bit better. Another thing we can't move on without covering is how do you exit on trend lines? Well, a general principle here is to scalp half initially and then draw a new trend line. We call this strategy just a very simple half and trail. So what you're going to do is you're going to exit the first half on a really distinct move, and then you're going to trail based on that new trend line. When a trend line breaks, all it's typically doing is establishing a new trend. So just trail along with the new trend. Again, when you're defining your trend lines, think about the actual trade that's setting up within that trend line trade that you're seeing. If you're looking to learn more about the types of trades to make and some of the time frames you can use to guide your own expectations for how fast the trade will work, and then more importantly, what that trade might lead to, you can check out this video and make sure you're going through all 5 steps. They really may seem fundamental, but again, when we lay a really good foundation, we have something great to build on.
So you're an active trader.
All right. I mean, that was pretty good.
Not doing as well as
They talked about one of my setups in there. They talked about a bunch of other stuff in there that was regarding, you know, how to use trend lines to better situate yourself in a trade. If you're not in a trade, how to enter a trade and how to take profits off that said trade. So pretty good video over there overall. I think that was pretty informative, pretty educative, and hopefully you guys learned a lot from there, and I learned a lot from there too. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that wraps it up for this weekend and going into Christmas. I see you put in Christmas Day is Monday. Is Monday a holiday then? I'm guessing Monday markets are not open. I'm guessing Monday markets are not open. And if that's the case, maybe it's just vacation time, boys. Maybe it's vacation time. Hold up. Let's quickly go take a look at the screen here. There is a very, very good chance that I just take the whole week off next week. Tomorrow we do have Christmas dinner at work. So Christmas lunch at work, sorry. So we're going to have Christmas lunch at work. And then there's a very, very high chance that I just take all of next week off. I will keep you guys posted on Discord and on Twitter if I do take the whole next week off. And then we start brand new, brand fresh in January 1st. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, that's the place to stay up to date on the stream schedules. So go ahead, follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. The links are in the description below, with all other links on all their social medias and affiliate sponsors and so on. Yeah, if I don't come back for Monday or for Tuesday, then I will just pick the giveaway winners and I'll post them on Twitter and I'll post them on Discord. I'll try to get in touch with you guys. And obviously, guys, Merry Christmas to everyone that celebrates, and a Happy New Year. This year has been a wonderful journey with you guys. It's been amazing to meet every single one of you so far, at least through the internet. I can't wait to start this second half of my YouTube journey with you guys over here on my own channel. Thank you for everyone who's been supporting me so immensely throughout this journey so far. The journey is just getting started. We got a lot of stuff to do. We got a lot of goals. So I would love for you guys to stick around. Love for you guys to keep helping me grow this community, this channel. Once again, to everyone that celebrates it, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I will see you guys most likely back on January 1st. And for the giveaway and all other fun stuff, do follow me on Discord and on Twitter to stay up to date. Thank you guys for coming by today. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, good night. Peace out. Praddy out.